has got nothing to lose. You've already shattered that glass ceiling, and let's see how high KayFlock can fly in winners top 24 qualifier. Peabnut against KayFlock, our last set of the block before top 24 itself. Let's get right into it.
Oh, starting off very different immediately from KayFlock. We are pressing and taking advantage of exactly Nehru's love here. Most of Mega Man's toolkit, with the exception of like forward air and back air, are projectiles. So breaking through Mega Man's zone with and breaking through Mega Man's combos with Nehru's love is going to be absolutely monumental. Not to mention the throw game on a heavy character like Mega Man, and KayFlock trying to flex that up close and personal rather than try and utilize Phantom and get outzoned by Mega Man's sheer abundance of options.
Trying to catch the descent there. The Knight as well is really tricky. If Peabnut wants to intercept and hit Zelda before that Knight comes out, he's got to preemptively throw out the Metal Blade like in that situation. Right. Just didn't quite have the timing on it, but you know, it's so tricky because then suddenly you're throwing out a projectile against Zelda with the reflector, and suddenly that back air, it's going to take the stock. Her straight hits have so much knockback that even if you're only getting nickels and dimes, that bank account's going to be looking real good by the end of the sequence.
Yeah, well, Zelda doesn't have the same kind of like value by going wide as Mega Man can in the mid-range, and it's a position that he can Peabnut can absolutely dominate in. Zelda's uniquely equipped to shut down close range and long range with Knight setups and a solid Nehru's Love as a combo breaker, while also having a pretty solid throw game and a really decent grab range too. It's just uniquely equipped to hold on to this lead, though Peabnut far from a player you can count out here. Yet these counter hits with the lightning kicks are just perfectly positioned.
You see Peabnut very much happy to be in the corner. Back throw may just be about enough. There it is, gonna get that first stock. However, it is going to be lovely timing on the reflector, not quite getting the hitbox that you're after with that back air, but this advantage, this ledge trap that KayFlock has got going, still going strong, and the Leaf Shield being sent right back into Mega Man's face.
Breaks the Knight, turns it offline for a little bit longer than if you just let it rock. Oh, the reflect from Nehru's Love lasts so long, trying to run in, gets the Crash Bomber tag team, but 160 and you're gone. Metal Blade conversion from ZTN's side.
And just the awareness to know that it was going to lead into that tech chase situation and then just go for that option with the back. It's so smart from KayFlock, clearly recognizing the players that he had in his path, and he's definitely done a little bit of homework walking into this set. Peabnut with a little bit of a deficit at the moment, and Zelda can live for quite some time. However, when you're getting parry into up tilt, one of Mega Man's strongest kill options, sailing into the skies, and that large lead is looking a lot smaller.
Yeah, he's a Capcom character. They got to give him a Shoryuken. You know, it's just how it goes. Perfectly beautiful kill option there from Peabnut to honestly bring this game right back to even. If it was the same position as before with a bunch of nickel and diming, ZTN had a hefty advantage, but in this type of game where it's only 20% separating, Mega Man can slowly chip away with all of these pellets, metal blades, crash bombers, and everything in between, and slowly wear away at ZTN's patience. It seems like Peabnut is perfectly in his element.
At this point, the Leaf Shield just intercepting that, finally managing to close a bit of distance. It's really difficult. They're so close in percents that, you know, if the timeout game is beginning to flicker in their minds, it can be so back and forth at any moment. The neutral B intercepting that Leaf Shield once again. A little bit too early on that one this time. And once again, retreating to the side of the stage.
That's neat. Metal Blade, I guess I should say, just like in Mega Man 2, it's a projectile that pierces. So it goes, if the Phantom doesn't summon its shield, it goes right through it.
That is a really niche interaction that I wonder, again, Peabnut, you know, when you've been playing this character for this long, you're going to have that information ready. However, KayFlock clutching it out with that up air, such a monumental hitbox right above Zelda. And again, it was looking like Peabnut was beginning to claw it back into his favor, but KayFlock managing to just close it out in the game one.
Yeah, Yeah, but that's the type of game I think Peabnut wants to create. Those nickel and dimes, like I want to play in the mid to long range and come in with pellets, but every so often just kind of say, I'm going to overwhelm you with sheer volume of things in that mid range with the pellets, leaf shield, metal blade, crash bomber, and rush even to throw in some different looks and different feelings, and always leave it to ZTN to say, you have to make a read, else I will nickel and dime you for 8 minutes. Luckily for ZTN, made a bunch of reads. Worked out really good. But I think that's still the gameplay style that Peabnut wants to be in.
Straight back to Battlefield again. Both these players very much enjoying the stage. I love that, using the grab armor to just go completely through the hitbox of the Crash Bomber, getting a neat 35% on the board, sending that Knight a little bit too early, but a clutch parry means that no damage is taken here. The Crash Bomber, once again, these reflectors are doing so well at just neutralizing so many options that in the vast majority of matchups, Mega Man takes for granted.
Truly. Here, Joyce, we're seeing Peabnut start to play with a little bit more focus on being on like a diagonal, but still very forward in it. Like, come down with the pellets, like come down with like a Z-drop metal blade. Don't let Zelda control the mid-range once she gets a chance to put out the Phantom. I love the idea.
So the vision was definitely there, but KayFlock getting a lovely little reversal of his own, and Peabnut just trying to get that shield pressure going. And
that
was
just sick!
Yeah, just getting that approach in, and an up tilt for his troubles. Peabnut with a strong lead at the moment, and Mega Man, deceptively heavy character despite his small stature, so it's going to be a little while potentially.
The robot,
get it.
He's made of metal. Going to be hard to kick away as an entire metal robot, but I mean, Zelda's got some kicks to do it with those lightning kicks online. ZTN trying to find one, trying to land with a couple hitboxes before resorting back to that full screen nature. Getting the full Phantom is such a benefit to Zelda's just sheer stage control. Again, trying to approach with one of these landing options, a landing forward air, a landing up air, rising forward air. No dice though. Peabnut's evasiveness has been perfect.
The thing is as well in that situation is that we've seen 2 or 3 little trades with the Knight where, don't get me wrong, Peabnut has gotten hit, don't get it twisted, but at the end of the day, it's still damage, and when you've got such a lead, any trade is going to work out in your favor. A little bit of a scramble situation there, both of them feeling the fear as they get into each other's ranges, however, none of them really getting an advantage in that situation, and again, Peabnut more than happy to play at that slower pace.
Yeah, refinding the exact tempo that he wanted, but with a lead this time, it turns the entire game on its head. Battlefield certainly working out for Peabnut's evasiveness as well. He's able to rush to the top platform whenever he doesn't want to be on the same horizontal as Zelda, which is like all the time.
I was going to say, I think trying to get a footstool metal blade combo going, however, a little bit less lag than he was expecting, but of course 160% on Peabnut. That robot just won't die.
Yeah, at this point, you can even find like an up throw if your Zelda should pick out the stock. Hunting for it with one of that grab attempts, but Peabnut knows exactly what to be looking for at all of these positions. Rushes to the top platform and gets away, putting out these metal blades and the falling up air, the air shooter doing its job. Just perfectly spacing and keeping ZTN off balance through it all. Grab it to the back throw, and Peabnut in prime position for a 3 stock just by the nature of you can't touch.
This is the thing that I really want to point it out in a little moment. There we go, just a hazard up B into the center stage. Finally going to get stock 1 off the board. However, you've got to have a lot more than an up B and a dream to be able to take this game too. If you are KayFlock, with the way Peabnut is playing, it looks like a foregone conclusion. However, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I'm not going to say never, because that would be foolish in a game like this, in any fighting game, honestly, but writing is certainly on the wall. But I've seen ZTN put together some pretty insane stocks, and like mentioned before, Mega Man is pretty susceptible to a lot of throw combos and conversions if you hit your mark, because of his weight and fall speed, just generally leading to some really optimal stuff. It's just gonna be pretty difficult when you're already at 143 and just looking for anything to do something.
Oh, and just about gets out the reflector. That up B definitely would have killed in that position at 170%, and just instead conversing it into that forward air instead. Peabnut keeping it going.
Very, very commanding game 2. ZTN started with some momentum at the end of that stock, but it seemed like it was very much a information gathering type of stock, where it's like, I know that this game is probably not going to do it. Not to say that he's going to throw the game, but I'm going to just see what I can force out, what I can look for. Like if you're going to air dodge off of these grabs, or if you're going to be a more jump happy. And if there's anything that ZTN learned, it's that at a disadvantage, Peabnut's much more likely to be a jumper or a up special rather than an air dodge. So you can kind of cross that off the list for a little bit.
And it was interesting as well because we almost saw that at the end of game 1 as well, where it was like the start of game 1, KayFlock was doing these really like playing this very, very aggressive style, trying to get in Peabnut's face, and then towards that last stock started that more sort of Knight-centric game plan, and then it almost twisted it on its head in the game 2, where it was very Knight-centric until that last stock, where like you said, maybe thinking to yourself, okay, well I need that little bit more information, I want to get that little bit more aggro just to see how you react, to maybe sort of solidify and sort of shape the final corners of that game plan. So we'll see whether it's going to come to fruition here in this game 3. You're thinking with a smaller stage that maybe that aggression is going to be the name of the game. However, Peabnut really not letting it happen at the moment. A very long sequence in his favor, and it's just getting further and further away.
I know Zelda players love this stage for the sheer reason, the fact that like if you get a chance to summon Knight, you immediately win center stage. Like Peabnut has to play in the corner here because the Knight was there. The problem is, against most characters, retreating and getting Knight is something that you can do with some relative effectiveness, but against a mobile arsenal like Mega Man, summoning a Phantom, it takes a whole lot of time and assumes you're not going to get chipped by anything that Peabnut has been throwing, whether it be a forward smash or just a simple pellet. Off of that up tilt, not going to be able to convert because of the DI from Peabnut. Had to go for a read, and the counter punch was certainly not on ZTN's mindset.
Once again, just Peabnut getting these little hits going. The back air off that middle platform, going to set up an edge guard situation. Nearly had it there with the down smash, but again, no dice.
The mental stack between these two must be so unbelievably high. It's like, all right, we're worried about forward airs and back airs from both sides because they're very powerful. Like, case in point, like, we're worried about so much. So much is going on. So much is being thrown across the screen, with each with its own unique properties, that sometimes you just lose the forest for the trees.
And I was going to say, sometimes it's that real shift in tempo, right? The fact that we have even seen on sort of like both within the game, it's a slower pace, but on the adjustment scale as well, it has been a very, very slow process in finding those bigger, wider adjustments that every now and again, you're so used to it being at that slower pace that the sort of swinging up B right towards you, it is going to catch you off guard because nothing else in the game is going that fast, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's hard to react to when you're worried about so much. And the information game is certainly well in store here, especially with some options that are deceptively quick. 84% relatively even game. The smaller stage absolutely working out for ZTN when it comes to just being able to consistently hold under the platform. Like, whenever Peabnut approaches center stage, ZTN oftentimes gets a chance to charge Knight and then force Peabnut to back off into the corner. Lather, rinse, repeat. But that also means the fact, it also comes to play with the fact that Peabnut still has the percent lead, though maybe not for much longer after that Nair conversion. Oh, and the Crash Bomber trade-off was perfectly done. ZTN gaining a little bit of a lead here, but it'll really be the second stock that makes it count.
And this is the thing, this is the exact midpoint of a potential Game 5 set. Now these players want to give up this second stock and give up any kind of momentum that they have so far gathered. And once again, a pretty randy up B just sweeping the way into Peabnut's range, and he just wasn't quite ready for it. Again, too much on the mind, you forget what's in front of you.
Yeah, worried about so much, worried about what you need, what resources you need out at any given time, and ZTN taking full advantage of that. And now the reversal game can start really playing meaningful results. Every Nehru's Love, Leaf Shield, or Metal Blade, or Crash Bomber that goes back and does some damage, it's gonna feel a whole lot worse. the Metal Blades are kind of immune to the Knight, always chipping away at ZTN's percentage just a little by little bit. Down throw into the Nair, trying to drag to the platform. Got sent the other way, though.
Just about catching the landing. That nice stunning parry, and had the time for the F smash as well. I think Peabnut just underestimating that drift back, and the Metal Blade into the back air as well. KayFlock 2-1 up in the set.
Hey, yo, that's twice now that ZTN is not only finding a Metal Blade conversion with the simple like toss into aerial, but they're like unique conversions, like Metal Blade into tech chase, then convert off the tech chase. Metal Blade down into fast fall lightning kick. Like,
ridiculous.
You can call him a lot of things. Prepared is absolutely one of them.
I was going to say, it is very, very clear that, you know, sometimes when you're looking at that bracket path, you wonder how far can you go, and clearly this player has gone, you know what, I'm going to go the distance and I'm going to prepare as if I am winning this tournament. And with gameplay like this, honestly, it's becoming less and less of a surprise to have that thought. Of course, Peabnut has been used to playing at this kind of deficit. We saw yesterday on stream against Abe, the meme brawler, and she took him right to the very brink, to the point where he had to make a reverse 3-0 and a heck of a comeback in game 3 to do it. But Peabnut, again, got one of the best disciplines I have seen in a player in recent memory, so very much it's not over yet.
Yeah, not by a long shot. Peabnut is of a very, very calm, cool demeanor. I always think back to his sets against Zomba at a Riptide a few years ago, where he's just also so prepared and so calm in the face of adversity. Zomba, a fantastic player. ZTN, a fantastic player, but Peabnut doesn't bat an eye no matter who he's playing against, no matter if he's up in the set or down in the set. He's approaching this with the same mindset, always trying to figure it out. Currently, a larger stage certainly helps you figure out the Zelda problem, as without the ability to regain center stage so seamlessly with a simple Knight call, you can really start feeling how slow Zelda is.
Yes, you really, really can. When there's a little bit of extra distance, it does become apparent that lack of mobility and the slow pace of the game plan really begins to rear its ugly head. And mistimed Metal Blade there, sending Peabnut right into the hands of Zelda, and stunning the eye there, just about avoiding perishing to that back air. Still there, very delicate at this point.
Right. Able to put out just enough of the Crash Bomber and the Metal Blade to block the Din's fire just in the nick of time. Parry even. Just got to roll away though. Peabnut knowing exactly any Metal Blade conversion will do it at these percentages. You can just play calm and demeanor, trying for a mix-up with the rising back air. Kind of going against what I was saying, but all the same, he's prepared.
Yeah, I was going to say, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, and 3 times. It's looking a little less fortunate. Let me tell you, Peabnut ready for the up B into him, and just gets the punish off of it. Looking very strong in Peabnut's favor, 46% already on this second stock. Just catching that Metal Blade as well. The shield looking awfully small in the grand scheme of things, and Zelda has just got to take the damage from Crash Bomber for fear of that shield break setup. And you've taken so much damage, and Mega Man, he's still looking very healthy on this first stock.
Just in control and in command. So safe on block, never threatening Zelda's out of shield game, which is pretty powerful with things like lightning kicks and Nair out of shield, and Nehru's Love as well, doing very, very well. The forward throw into a perfect air dodge, calls out the high recovery, almost the low recovery. Peabnut, just barely getting by the roll, but the Din's Fire always catching the end lag on some of these extra tosses that Peabnut has been doing. It's been Crash Bomber the first 2 times. That 3rd time, it was the Leaf Shield. So nice awareness from ZTN, and some very solid combo to instantly get back in spitting distance.
I'd say so much damage taken there just within a couple of hits. Peabnut, again, has been making these stock last as long as he can. However, we have seen devastating effects that Zelda can get in the right conditions. So it's going to be interesting to see very much the projectile game being thrown over and over again, and that is why that Metal Blade's such a good conversion tool, and Peabnut making the most of it.
Over and over and over again. As simple as it looked, it was Peabnut saying, I'm in the lead, you have to deal with me tossing Metal Blade, and I will just keep tossing Metal Blade until you get hit by it. And it was just that perfect. It was perfectly encapsulates what these two characters are trying to do with each other. I'm going to play my game plan. You figure out how to beat it.
Yeah, and it felt like Zelda had a really, really good grasp there. The space that was covered, just a little bit of misspacing could have led to Peabnut's second stop being gone. However, it is very much looking like a Game 5 is on the cards. A bit of a haphazard upbeat, and I love that from Peabnut. Instead of just sort of staying on the ground and trying to really guess where you're going to go, just go for that hop, follow the drift, up tilt, done is done.
Easy peasy. Just like that, Peabnut, each game that Peabnut has won, he's looked dominant, just like in full control. But granted, those have been larger stages somewhat, or at the very least stages with some level of verticality. On Town and City, it's the fact that it is just flat out really big, and Battlefield has that top platform for easy escapability, always trying to stay off the same horizontal as Zelda. So here in Game 5, ZTN has the counter pick advantage. The opportunities are bound to go to wherever you want, and it makes sense that Smashville was then banned, but it does leave you open with something at least in the same flavor, with the same platform height and central accessibility, but way bigger. That is something that Peabnut certainly wants to take advantage of.
Going into this Game 5 at the moment, it is so typical to see a sort of immediate change of pace. However, it's going to be much slower here. KayFlock at the moment just getting a bit of a lead using that Crash Bomber to try and intercept Zelda's tricks and traps. However, not quite getting much more off of it. And this is the scary part about Metal Blade, right, is that you can still use the neutral Bs, side Bs, and down Bs, which at this point is 90% of the game plan, whilst you've got that Metal Blade in hand, and it just keeps it at a Mega Man's mitts for that little bit longer.
Item play is hyper important in a game like this, and Metal Blade certainly has all of those lovely item properties, especially if, whenever either player, honestly, has been able to get their hands on it. Still, in the nickel and dime game, Peabnut certainly has the advantage, trying to play off that center stage, but the larger corners really allow Peabnut to feel a whole lot more comfortable playing forced off stage. Tried for a down tilt into lightning kick conversion. I don't know if it would have taken the stock, but it certainly would have sent a message that ZTN still has plenty to go for, just like that hard knuckle that Peabnut finds at just the right timing. 2-frame on the Furor's win, and it seals Peabnut's lead, which is honestly has been kind of a linchpin for Peabnut's entire game plan against ZTN in this set.
And it does just feel like the pressure is beginning to set in for the Zelda player here, just going for these quite haphazard, quite optimistic options. But Peabnut, again, that stoic discipline that we have seen from him time and time again, even in the face of upset after upset in this tournament, he just knows that eventually the damage will come, the conversions will come, the victory will be there. But of course, she's still got a little bit left to say, our Zelda.
Royalty always has a long-winded speech, to say the least, and you know, it's not ending anytime soon. 4.5 minutes on the clock, and both players seem very willing to let the interactions play out and unfold in longer and deeper and more layered constrictions. Still, every single time that ZTN tries to engage with like a run-in shield or a falling aerial or something, Peabnut bats him away and tells him, try again.
Ooh, love that little conversion there, the dash attack into the night. However, stunning the eye from Peabnut is going to mean that it's not quite enough just yet. And again, that Crash Bomber just stalling out Zelda, forcing her into shield and giving Peabnut that little bit of freedom. Trying something a little bit cheeky there, extending that hurt box the duration with the up tilt. However, again, patience being shown.
A little bit of a mix-up. Knight doesn't get out his sword in time based on the spacing, so the back throw was an attempted DI mix-up there from Peabnut. Still at from ZTN rather. 141 though. You need this stock expeditiously. Doesn't matter how it comes. Just needs to be there. Summoning the Knight in order to get center stage back, but
both of them rolling in there. Felt like something potentially could have happened. We're going to get that back throw. Not quite enough again. Mega Man, that metal is looking awfully dense at the moment. And the up throw finally going to take it. 150, a lot of rage and a dream for KayFlock at the moment. However, Peabnut still looking very strong, and 2 stocks to 1 at the moment. It is a very, very uphill battle we're looking at here.
Yeah, it's going to be tougher and tougher on ZTN, to the point where you're just forced to do things like that. The grab into the Phantom hitbox, into the lightning kick after, a quick 68% in the blink of an eye, and more plays like that are certainly going to get Peabnut on the back foot more and more, especially as you keep dealing with this chip away damage. Oh, trying to convert off the Crash Bomber, but it doesn't find it.
Yeah, had a really lovely idea, but just didn't quite have the spacing there and ready for it. 57% here on Zelda, just that little bit more from the Crash Bomber, and another one to boot as well. We are coming to the conclusion of this game. 2.5 minutes on the clock. Peabnut going to be looking to close this out. However, timeout is still an option should the pace begin to draw to an even slower.
I'm floored that sour spotted off of finding the scoop. He just needed the slightest of angles to the right there in order to get the sweet spot and bring this game to a pretty even playing field all the same. We're just seeing why Hollow Bastion was left open. Like, it's so firmly... Oh, and man, Peabnut with the wherewithal for that trap. He knew that Crash Bomber was going to detonate, had that internal clock in his head, so the risk of the run-up up smash was absolutely free.
Peabnut just trying to bait in a roll there for KayFlock again, just keeping themselves very disciplined in the situation, recognizing the situations where he's going to die, catching him a street with a forward tilt. Peabnut dying off the right-hand side, but however, the Metal Blade conversion, tried and true, is going to be his saving grace as he continues his way from another close set in the winner's bracket. Top 24 for Peabnut.
Yeah, and he locked in on exactly what won him games 2, 4, and 5, which is I know that if I get an early lead, I will eventually be able to nickel and dime enough pressure that gets ZTN to commit to something. Could be anything, but it's something, and more